When I first started my journey of changing my life and making an academic comeback, I had a lot of haters. I had a lot of people tell me it wasn't possible. I had a lot of people belittle me. I had people, even tutors, people who are supposed to help me, say I wouldn't even achieve it. Okay. And these haters at first really impacted me. They did, right? They stopped me from doing the work. They stopped me from trying to improve myself. And their hating words literally, like, they crippled me, right? I remember at the start of year 11, it would be a constant cycle of sitting down, being positive and confident and studying. Then the next day it would be the complete opposite, not studying, doing nothing, wasting time. Why? Because the haters would affect me, right? People saying I wouldn't achieve it because of my past, my school, my subjects. It made me think that, you know what, maybe they're right. Right? And this was a constant struggle because obviously, like, when someone hates on you and you actually take that hate in your mind and you actually like believe it, it impacts you like crazy and you linger on it for weeks. I'm sure you might relate. So I had to find a way of overcoming this. And I can say, thank God, by the end of year 11, through a lot of experience, through a lot of reading, through a lot of reflection, I found out a proven way of overcoming haters and shit talkers, and it allowed me to reach my goal in the end, which was a 95 ATAR. I actually achieved higher than that, and I achieved even much more than that. And it's funny because those same haters who hated on me during year 11 and 12, I got higher ATARs than them. I'd done better than them. Like, that is awesome, right? I'm just gonna tell you one story of probably one of the biggest hate moments that I had. And then I'm going to go over the story, then I'm going to go over how I actually overcome hate in general. So I remember at the start of year 11, well, I think it was like term 2, I got this math tutor, okay? And this math tutor was helping me out, etc., etc. And when he found out that I wanted to get a 95 ATAR, he laughed at my face. I'm not joking. I was sitting there. I vividly remember this moment. I was sitting there, and I remember he was asking me, like, what ATAR do you want to get? And I said 95. And he was like, yeah, right. That was my own tutor who said that. My own tutor laughed at my face after finding out that I wanted to get a 95 ATAR. Why? Because not only did I do a low scaling math subject, so I didn't do like advanced math or anything. I just done like math or general standard 2. But I also went to a 300 plus ranked public school, right? So the ranking was off. And I had barely passed my whole life in school. My whole life in school, from the start of year 7 all the way to the start of year 11, I was getting C's, I was getting D's, maybe got one B here and there. I hated school. I played games all day. I wanted to drop out, all that stuff. So because of all this, my tutor laughed at my face, and he had the opposite of that. He was always liking school. He went to a good school. He'd done high scaling subjects and etc. So obviously he hated on me. And fast forward, I actually ended up getting a higher ATAR than him. He got a 90. I got a 97.9. That is a 7+ difference between our ATARs, despite the odds against me. So yeah, that was awesome. However, what's more important than that is the fact that I was able to overcome this hate to achieve that in the first place. And that is what I'm going to go over in this video. Now, just a quick disclaimer. If you're a student right now who's trying to make an academic comeback, who's trying to actually change themselves and their life and their bad habits and actually achieve a top result, you're going to get haters. 100%. Because when you try to improve, people don't like that. People hate to see you improve. So you're going to get shit talkers. I'm just giving you a warning right now, because some of you, a large portion of you, will already experience this type of hate. You're probably experiencing it right now. If you have not experienced it, you will soon. I promise you. Okay, so I want to warn you before it happens. All right, let's jump right into it. So how do you overcome haters? How do you overcome shit talkers? I have it all written down here. These are methods that I have curated over like a whole year. It was during year 11 where I discovered it. And now by using the same methods, I was able to overcome all the hate. Even now, the hate I get, I'm able to overcome. Obviously, someone my age, when you try to, do something that people don't usually do, like for example, I have this YouTube channel where I make videos. I run an online coaching program. I do a lot of things. Obviously, when you do that, people shit talk, right? So even now, I'm just unaffected by it. Okay, so what is the first method to overcoming a hater? The first thing you need to do to overcome a hater is to understand the mind of a hater. The mind of a hater is something that is fascinating, and it's something that will, once you understand, make you actually feel bad for the person who's hating on you. Nowadays, when anyone hates on anyone else, I feel bad for the hater. I don't feel bad for the person. I feel bad for the hater. Because the mind of a hater is that of one of severe insecurity. When someone goes out of their way to hate on you or talk shit to you, they have a severe insecurity about themselves that they're simply projecting onto you. It's that simple. And another thing you have to understand, and I want you to actually write this down, hate never, ever comes from above. You will never get hated by someone who is actually above you. Never. Hate always comes from down below. Like 100% of the time, whether you think it or not. Right? Let's say, for example, you're someone who's trying to do well in school and someone who got a 95 ATAR is saying that you can't do it. You might think to yourself, but Luke, man, this guy is actually higher than me. So how is hate not coming from, above? Even then, that student who got a 95 ATAR, who's talking shit about you and thinks that you can't get it, they are just reflecting their own insecurities. They think that if they were in your position, they wouldn't achieve it, right? And same goes with anything. Like, if you are getting hated on, what the person is hating on you about, they think that about themselves, right? It's like I was in a coaching call with one of my students, and she was complaining to me about how she had this one girl in her class who was in year 12, the student's in year 11, and the person in year 12 was saying like, why are you working so hard? Like, you shouldn't be working this hard. You should be spending more time with your friends. Like, why are you sacrificing all this time to study? Like, you should be doing blah, blah. They were just like running them out, right? And the student was telling me like, this is really impacting me. I'm lingering over it. I'm really thinking about it. It's impacting my ability to do the work. And then I told them like, the only reason why that person is saying that to you is because they know that when they were in year 11, they didn't put in the work and they wish they did. But now that they're seeing you put in the work, they don't want to see you do that. They want you to go down to their own level, right? So that's the first thing to do to overcome haters. Like, if someone hates on you, if someone goes out of their way to hate on you, they have some severe psychological issues. Like, I'm not joking. Especially like if someone goes out of the way and texts it, right? Like, when I see a hate comment in my videos, I don't get much of them, but when I do see like, a few of them, I just feel bad for them. Like, they actually went out of their way to comment on a video about how I look. Like, what? Like, you have some severe issues. Like, who does that? Who has that much time on their hand to talk shit to you? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? So that's the first thing. That's the first method to overcome a hater. It's to simply understand that like, hate never comes from above. And when someone hates on you, they're just reflecting their own insecurities onto you. They reflect their own fears onto you. They reflect what they know they could never achieve onto you. It's like when your careers advisor tells you you shouldn't be doing medicine. They're only saying that to you because they think that if they were in your position, they wouldn't do medicine. They couldn't do medicine, right? That's the first thing. The second method of overcoming haters is to use them as fuel. This is one of my favorites. When I had people hate on me, I used to visualize their face and how it would look when I succeeded. So that tutor I was talking to you about before, the math tutor who said I wouldn't, who laughed at my face because I wanted to achieve a 95 ATAR, every time I was studying and every time I felt like giving up, I would remember that guy's face and I would visualize what I'd do or what would happen when I succeeded in the end and proved them wrong. And I ran his voice in my mind over and over and over again. And every time I felt like giving up, I would play his voice in my mind again and it would get me back to work. So this is what I want you to do. The person who's hating on you, the person who says stuff about you and who belittles you and he says you can't achieve it, visualize their face. Play their audio in your mind and use that as the reason to wake up at 5 a.m. Use that as the reason to work your absolute ass off to succeed. And use that as the reason why you shouldn't be slacking off. Because if you do this properly, you're going to get this sense of motivation that is literally like you can't get rid of it. And that's why I was a lot of the time motivated. Because every time I wanted to give up, every time I thought of, not trying, I play their voice in my mind over and over again. And also another thing you want to do is you also want to imagine what they'd say to you if you didn't achieve it. So in my case, right, when I felt like giving up, when I felt like not studying, I would tell myself like, if I don't end up achieving this, they're going to say, I told you so. But I don't want them to say that. So now let me work my ass off to make sure that doesn't happen, right? So that's the second method that I use to overcome haters. It's just use them as fuel. Use them as the reason to do the work. And that's why now, even now, when someone hates on me, when someone says something to me, I love it so much. It motivates me so much. Like, it genuinely does. When someone says that I can't do something, you're pretty much saying that I can do it. When someone doubts me, like when someone says to me, sorry, I'm just getting excited talking about this because it genuinely like fires me up. When people told me I couldn't achieve a 95 ATAR because I went to a 300 plus ranked public school, because I'd done low scaling subjects, and because I barely passed school my whole life, that motivated me so much, because I would imagine what would happen if I did. I used to imagine what would happen if I did. And that would really, really push me to study even harder. Okay. The third thing that you need to do to overcome haters, and what I do to overcome haters, is to simply look at history. No one who tries to do anything great was not hated on. Look at anyone in history. You can look at the greatest man in history of all time. They all got hated on. Think of anyone you see as successful. Think of anyone, literally anyone. They will have haters. For example, Mr. Beast, right? I don't know why I'm not saying he's the greatest man, far from it, but I'm just saying, like, Mr. Beast, he will have a video about building wells for people in poor countries, and there'll be some idiot in the comments hating. You can find a video online about some guy just genuinely helping others, and there'll be some idiot in the comments. Anyone in history, look at them, look at anyone, and all of them have haters. So what makes you think you're not going to get haters? Like, you should expect them. No one in history who tries to do anything great, no one in general who tries to do anything great doesn't have haters. Michael Jordan has haters. Kobe Bryant had haters. And like literally everyone has haters. The only way to not have a hater is to just try to fit in with everyone and try to be mediocre and try to be a little baby who just does what people say. That's the only way you don't get hated on. And even then you'll probably get hated on, right? So you need to understand that you're always going to have haters, right? There was actually a quote from David Goggins, and he said, like, if you could walk on water, people will laugh at you and say the only reason why you walk on water is because you can't even swim. That pretty much sums it. You're always going to get haters, and even more, you're going to get haters when you try to do something great. In this case, trying to make an academic comeback, trying to improve your results, trying to get good marks, etc. The fourth method of overcoming haters is to journal. Now, this really, really helps. Basically, what you want to do is when you feel affected by someone's words, when you feel affected by a hater, just write down what you're feeling. Write down, like, why is this impacting me? Why is this, like, these comments actually hurting me? Because once you write it down, it's like a cathartic feeling, and it releases everything that's on your mind, and you'll feel much better. Okay, that's the fourth one, sorry. But the final way of overcoming a hater, the final way that I overcame haters and overcome haters is, it's a little bit dark, it's a little bit, scary, but it's the truth. It's to understand that everyone's going to die, including yourself. You are going to die. The person hating on you is going to die. And in the end, it's not going to really matter. It's like you're getting impacted mentally by the words coming from someone who's literally going to die. You're getting impacted by someone who, once you die, they're going to forget you. And once they die, you're going to forget them. It's very deep, I understand, but it's probably the most effective method out of all of them. Why would you let someone's words, just a string of characters coming from their mouth, impact you? It's just stupid. It's just stupid. Because they're going to die and you're going to die. So why does it matter? Right? And there you have it. That is how I overcame haters during year 11 and 12. And that is how, despite anyone's words, despite anyone's belittlement, I was able, against all odds, to defy those odds and achieve a 97 plus ATAR, become the Duxamo cohort, get a scholarship to study at a top uni. And it's why, to this day, I also am unaffected by haters. I make videos like this. I do a lot of things. And obviously, I have haters, but they don't impact me at all, right? I hope this video was helpful to you. And if you have haters right now, just don't get impacted by them. It's just silly. Like, you should smile, because if you get hated on, that means you're doing something right. Like, I'm not joking. If you have haters, you're doing something right. Okay? When you have people who are like not hating on you at all, and they're just like being nice and etc., you're most likely doing something wrong. Okay? So stay strong, put your head in the game, and always remember, I had haters myself. Okay? You're not alone at all. I had haters. And yeah, hope these methods helped just a recap. Number one, understand the mind of a hater. Hate never comes from above. Number two, use them as motivation and fuel. Number three, understand that you will always have haters, and any great person in history always had haters. Number four is to journal. And number five is to simply understand that you are going to die and they are going to die. So why the hell would you let their words impact you? I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.